In today's video, I want to talk about manifestation, a technique used by an individual in order for them in their mind being able to see a potential future at one point becoming a reality. Now, as of my last video, Unconditional Love, I thought about why not go further with that concept, as many people already listen to music that's all about love, watching movies, once again, all about love. So why not do something about manifestation, a tool in order for an individual to create a reality for themselves that they want to see happen at one point in time, about love. Manifestation has nothing to do with simple daydreaming, where you simply think of something in order to have time passed by. You have eventually a little bit of joy doing that. You see certain images, so you have certain conversations with people, certain scenarios are happening, but that's basically it. You are not feeling it fully to the full extent. You are not believing that you are able to achieve that. Daydreaming is simply having a dream and waking up from it because you are being tapped on. Your attention suddenly is somewhere else. Manifestation is all about having that goal buried deep in your mind. You can feel it to the core of your well-being. You absolutely know that for this reality to manifest, it already has happened. You already know it's going to happen because it already has happened. So you're not assuming something, hoping for something to see certain changes in your own reality, in the current reality right now. You already way ahead of time know deeply you have achieved that goal. You already well know years ahead of time you will be someone exceptional. You will be a self-made. You will be someone who has a company. You will be a CEO. You will be doing XYZ. You will be the best soccer player. You will be the one who's on stage, on TV, on camera, whatever the case it is. Yeah, you are seen by a lot of people. You want to have that kind of money, that supercar that you always have dreamt about. The girl, the guy that you can imagine a future with, Key points are that you are doing it at one point on a constant basis, deepening the emotions that you feel, deepening the sensations you eventually have while thinking and constructing this reality further and further and deeper, making it more and more complex over time. And later on, once you have constructed that idea, once you have taken out all those moments, like I've described in the video, cherish the moment. In every single second, there is a moment to capture for the individual. In every single moment, an individual has the chance to change their entire destiny. If they are willing to put in the effort, if they are willing to change their core energy, which is very, very difficult to do. After all, you clearly see a lot of people are not changing over time. They're not changing over years. They're not even changing over decades. Adults, one more time, after all, think they do not have to learn anything anymore. They are now in a position where they earn money. So money equals status, power, fame eventually, and many more aspects. So it's not necessary for an adult who later on eventually becomes a parent to learn anything, because an adult, a parent, obviously knows way more than a child. And most adults at one point have accepted reality. They are not a co-creator of reality. They have accepted it. They cannot change it. Their life, through their own choices taken prior in the past, made them at one point insignificant to the current state. And also seeing other people move differently, meaning they will be jealous, envious, and will start to hate people who move differently through this realm. Huh? So manifestation, when it comes to love, one of the greatest powers in this universe, the strongest force actually. Because you allow yourself to be vulnerable to someone, you open up, you give it your all, your entire heart. You believe that the other one, your significant other, your future spouse, is not going to crush you. Which means you develop deep trust in that union. You clearly see that the one you are, for example, wanting to be with moves differently through life, has proven themselves over time to be completely different than everyone you have encountered prior. So only date, please, if you are seriously interested in someone. Do not date for fun. Do not date because you want to have time passed by. You actually might create a lot of more problems that you later on have to solve. And that takes time again. So, manifestation. It's not simple daydreaming. You construct something. Just like in the video, one more time, cherish the moments. You, for example, feel the entire weight in the chair. You very well feel heavily. Great emphasis and focus on the cup, the weight of the cup. How you extend your arm, you absolutely feel more because you concentrate on this aspect. Unconsciously, you don't feel anything. I can just do this, grab something, eat, and do not put any attention to it. Manifesting something is you put your energy, focus, and heart to a goal that you see yourself at one point happening for you. So when it comes to love, for example, imagine you right now having a relationship, or you're about to have a relationship, or a relationship has ended, but there is still potential there to come together. You, of course, have a lot of memories. You, of course, have visions, ambitions, what you want to see in that relationship, where you want to be at a certain time, what you want to wear, how you want to talk, how you want to move through life with that individual, how you want to be seen, perceived by the external world. You fulfilling yourself, she fulfilling himself, herself, and together you bring that combined energy and absolutely create something magnificent. Because after all, that would be true love. If two people come together and completely trust 100%. Yeah, they think they're heavily attracted to each other body-wise. They're heavily attracted to each other soul-wise. There's a deep connection. You just need to look someone in the eyes and you absolutely know everything. That this is your individual. This is your person. No one else basically cares. So you have a scenario in your mind, a location, for example, that you two live together at a certain place, maybe at a very expensive apartment or your own house, eventually even a mansion. I don't know what kind of money you later want to have in life, but you clearly are able to see that. You clearly are able to feel the wind blowing by once you come closer to that location, to that garden, to the entrance door. Yeah. You can fully feel how you're moving with your spouse up the stairs, up the elevator, whatnot, how you're entering your apartment, your house, how you're turning the key. All the emotions, that this is a joyful connection, harmonious. You allow the other one to fulfill their potential. You're absolutely not controlling someone. We are now here talking about true love, real love, the absolute, what actually everyone craves, deserves. Unfortunately, will never have, because they do not do the inner work that I've mentioned quite a few times in my videos. You have to know who you are in order to move accordingly effectively through this realm, not being shaken by the opinions of other people who, for example, absolutely do not have the best of interest in you, for you. They want to deceive you, they want to play you, because they have their own agenda that they want to have manifest at one point. So you're entering that apartment. You clearly see everything. How high the ceiling is, what kind of color the walls potentially might have. The tables, the long table in the living room or in the entrance area. You have an aquarium, you have aquascapes already to the left once you enter. You have shoes everywhere. You have socks. You see a little bit of cozy environment. Pillows everywhere. Certain aspects of the living room are completely organized and cleaned, even to the extent that someone might believe no one is living there, because it's so clean, it's so professional. It's just high standards. You do not have to clean all the time because you have a system in place that allows it for you to clean everything effectively without losing energy. Meaning, you can do whatever you want to do later on, like working out, going out, partying, once in a while, of course, that is not every single weekend, because you want to have a meaningful life. You want to have the true love. True love means you have to work for it. Every day you have to work. Two people come together to unite. Two people come together to push themselves further and further and further to become the better version of themselves, for themselves and for the other one. So that's all what you have to keep in mind as well. You do not want to have ordinary love, like most people have. That quickly fades away. The sex quickly becomes dull and boring, especially when children are involved, especially because of the hormonal change. And average women, for example, just like average men, absolutely not being interested to work out like crazy, to highlight a wonderful, handsome, sexy body to their significant other. To spice things up, to all the time do something, to just being, for example, naked, and that look alone gets the other one flattered. Ordinary people do not have any interest of that, because working out is a chore. Having to look for example, what you're eating, having a nutrition plan is a chore. Doing meditation consciously is a chore. Most people do not read anything about meditation, do not do any qigong, tai chi, breath exercises, that stimulate the body on the inside heavily to be able to be relaxed. A relaxed state allows you, for example, to also sleep way easier, allows you to consciously walk and work through life, throughout the day, easily. You save a lot of energy because you're constantly relaxed. Your heartbeat lower by being relaxed. There's more input. You can digest it, you can process it, which is very important for manifestation, because you want to see everything clearly once you move into that apartment, into that mansion with your significant other. And everything that you later on want to see, pets, children, exceptional friends, people around you who push both of you to all the time achieve the next goal. So you enter that apartment. Let's just say in my case, it's an apartment. It's a wonderful apartment, high ceiling, large cabinets, large tables, large sofas, great pictures, cabinet, multiple ones, full of whiskey, full of vodka, full of gin, mostly as decoration, as I've mentioned in a few of my videos, just a few. I only potentially, eventually, drink once or twice a little bit of whiskey in a month. Just that little bit. That's pretty much. Only during the winter times, I drink a little bit more, potentially 8 to 10 times in a month. Just like I'm right now having a beard. I'm not shaving every second day like I've always done in my other videos, because during the winter time, I'm a little bit more lazy when it comes to stuff like that. I might be working out way more, and eventually a beard like that helps me in a way to channel that masculine energy, to focus on the workout and focus on meditation. I channel basically extra energy. I imagine that this is extra energy. So you enter that apartment, you see the flowers. Because you're for significant other, for your grill, every single day, flowers on the table. Every single day, you do something different in that room, in that apartment, in that living room, for example, that large living room with multiple aquascapes and a very large aquarium in front of the couch with exotic fish. You clearly see how tall that aquarium is. You feel how it feels like to, for example, do the water changes, to trim the plants, to feed the fish, alone and with your spouse. You completely feel it. You feel the presence next to each other. Once again, while you are in real time, only sitting in a chair, only laying in your bed, but you can feel everything as if it already happened. You're sitting on a couch, 7 p.m., the sunset, settling already. It's orange. It's that orange, wonderful ambience, like 1 hour before it gets dark. And you both are sitting on a couch, in front of that large aquarium on the other side. And you're relaxing. You're sitting, normally you have your legs stretched. She is sitting to the left, and her feet are resting on your knees. No one has socks. Let the feet breathe. And you are fully relaxed. And you're massaging, for example, her feet, while she's browsing on the phone. You hear the fish eventually swimming and flopping.
Maggot.
They are breaching the surface levels of the water.
So you say.
You see that she has been eating a yogurt. There's a banana maybe next to it, and some vitamins. And you're asking, have you taken the vitamins already? And she replies, yes, I have. Okay, good, nice. You absolutely feel everything. Like because you put a lot of emphasis to basically everything that you usually unconsciously do. Maybe you do the massaging of the feet consciously, but everything else is subconsciously. But in that manifestation, that vision you want to create, you have to be conscious of everything that you're doing, because you need to feel it heavily. You need to feel how the weight of your feet touch the ground. Your own breathing. Pay attention to that. Pay attention to hair breathing. Pay attention to potential pets you might have. Cats, for example. Up to 3. I would imagine 3 cats minimum. 1 probably, I don't know why this is right now in my name. I would call them, for example, the name just popped up, like Alcatraz, for example. And I believe She wouldn't accept that. So you have two other cats. One is eventually sleeping next to the aquarium, while the other one under the table on a chair. Schlap time. It's a very relaxed atmosphere. It's all about love. You potentially were working out prior. You both are working out together almost every second day, every second, third day. You're working out. You both want to challenge each other to become better all life long. So all life long, you two will be working out all life long. You cherish together those moments. You may go to the gym together. Very, very rarely you do something like that alone. But in that apartment, you have your own corner. There's also weights, dumbbells. You can deadlift. You can do whatever you want to do. You can do chin-ups. You can work out together. But you can also work out naked together. This is also very important. There's some spiciness. You can do that. You can watch each other. Feel the emotions. Sexiness. All those little things that usually subconsciously people perceive. Now we are all about the small, fine details. From a man's perspective, you watch her legs, you watch her butt, chest, puff, puff, you watch her eyes, her hair, how it's waving while she's doing the exercise. The same goes for you. You allow her in that imagination, that manifestation. She's watching you. She's perceiving you. You eventually have to perform for her, You have to do the striptease eventually. Do that. Because you want to have unconditional, true love, which only is possible if you know who you are. And you're also able to allow the other one to express themselves the way that they truly are. You do not want anything in return. But but love also means you have to work together. Because you want to have that true love, true unconditional love for life. Which means you will never become boring for your significant other. I've mentioned just twice that you are together doing things, rarely alone when it comes to working out. But you also have to give the other one space. In distance, there is also love coming back, lust coming back. You want to touch the other one. You long for the other one because you have been distant. People who all the time are together, doing things together every single day, living together, not spicing things up, they become at one point roommates. Average people, for example, absolutely do not get the idea that they could record themselves when they're having sexy time, that they spice things up, that they invest into great cameras, great light, spotlights, microphones. You do not have to upload that content, but you have something. What most people absolutely never will. Because most people do not like who they are. Most people hate themselves. Most people could not watch into the mirror and truly say that they love themselves. So how can people like that perform in front of a camera? They would be probably even more nervous. It probably wouldn't even look nice aesthetic-wise. Objectively spoken, other people, if that were uploaded, would say, well, it doesn't look nice actually. The lighting is shit. They're maybe fat. Ordinary looking. Nothing looks great because of the lighting, the setup. Extraordinary people, exceptional people. They might be role playing, fantasy porn, creating fantasy porn, science fiction porn, medieval porn. Once again, when we come to the fantasy, Beauty and the Beast. I would be the vampire, she would be the beauty. Obviously, she would need to like to be bitten in the neck. Yeah? She's the queen, and you are her servant. You are the sex slave. Imagine it completely. Buy outfits, yeah, that truly represent certain points in history. So you do not buy some cheap stuff. You spend a lot of money because this is an exceptional time for you two. You want to do things that most people basically do not do. If you want to do science fiction sexy stuff, you eventually use green screens. You eventually also craft things together. There are YouTube channels out there where they tell you how to, for example, create science fiction light, a science fiction ambience. Huh? Maybe just a cockpit. Maybe just a broken ship that you have on a screen that you later on maybe put into the forest. And it absolutely looks like it's real. And then you do your recordings, you know. You can do whatever you want because it is all about you too. When it comes to that sexiness, that sexy time, you know. You can pick any genre, any movie, and twist it to your liking. For example, you could do something about Stargate. Chevron 9, for example, leads to the Destiny. But you could make it in your sexy adventure with your spouse. There's Chevron 10. And once it gets unlocked and you too, through the green screen, you would walk through it, geared up, for example, with weaponry, whatnot. On the other side, you are naked. Because after all, you want to do some spicy things. You want to create a spicy clip. Yeah? That you two eventually edit together. So that also you imagine the sitting together, the laughing, the fun times, the hot times, the spicy times. You completely dwell in that moment. Huh? You see them clearly. You extend the moment. While at the same time, in the back of your mind, overall spoken, the two of you live in a harmonious relationship. You have a wonderful lifestyle. There is no worries. There is no trust issues. Once again, no worries about money. No worries about what other people think. Because you two challenge each other for the better all the time. And people who are confident absolutely give a fuck what anyone else might be thinking. The two are unshaken. Huh? If you're a heterosexual couple, having high standards, or you developed high standards together over time, you are like king and queen. Huh? On a chessboard, the king and the queen are the most important and strongest figures in chess. So what do I mean by that? That means the two of you are unshaken by the opinions of other people. You do not care what they say. You do not care about their input. You two have a higher conscience. You two only take the advice of the other one, because you two have proven yourself over time who both of you truly are. You have overcome certain obstacles in order to come together to this magnificent apartment. You know, the rent pay might be 3, 4, 5,000 a month. something exceptional. Other people, for example, imagine they're already living in a big mansion. There's a swimming pool. There's a whirlpool in the garden, a very large whirlpool with a cocktail bar and whatnot. They're having sexy time on a billiard, on a billiard table. And they absolutely fully enjoy that. This is so deep at one point, burned basically in the mind, in the brain, into the soul. You two having fun, you two basically sitting on a couch once more. And it's completely relaxed. There's no stress. All those bastards of the past, gone. You do not care about their opinions. King and queen do not give a fuck. King and queen expect you to be on their level, not the other way around. After all, two people come together to create a new family. So if you create a new family, you two are your own masters. You are your own leaders. You decide how this family is about to happen, and not someone else's input. Your parents' input, your uncles and aunts' input, your eventual of the past loser quality friends that are greatly envious of you, jealous of you. All those people in that manifestation, gone to the side, fuck off, fuck that shit. These people are gone, no longer present, no longer of importance. You only accept people that develop themselves too. You no longer allow to be talked in a certain way. You no longer allow to be manipulated in a certain way. You both cherish each other. You both, once again, apartment, mansion, house, whatever, give each other space. So you also give her, from my perspective, you give your girl, your grill, space in that imagination, in that manifestation. She can do what she wants. She can walk wherever she wants. The potential job she might be doing, maybe it's a creative one like myself too. Maybe it isn't. Maybe she's all about pets. Cats, for example. She's doing something with cats. She created something all about cats. You give her free will. You do not control that. Even though you try to control the outcome of your future, of the current state of reality, because you project something into the future. But it is harmonious. There's silence and peace. This is a safe spot. A safe spot where all of your desires are met. After all, you are a co-creator. You deserve that. If you walk in truth, if you focus on yourself, if you improve yourself, you deserve that absolutely. You deserve that true love. You deserve that lifestyle to finally be together with the one you want to be together, against all obstacles of the past. Because there might be different dynamics. Certain people, certain idiots, moronic morons, completely against that. But in that manifestation, no one can block that manifestation. That's also a thing. If you have honest intentions, pure intentions, the best you wish for yourself, and very importantly for your spouse, no one can block that shit. That's why I can openly say that. Low vibrational morons can't do anything about it. If they were, for example, into magic, doesn't work. No chance. Once again, it is about having the image in mind, and at one point after you have constructed this future, this vision, you can construct it over several weeks. You let it go. You let it go at one point. Of course, you all the time have focused also on your life prior, You're not just daydreaming 24/7 and now I say daydreaming because you have to do certain things still. You have to improve in reality, in real time, in order to attract this frequency to you. Because that reality, where you see yourself with your significant other, already exists. You just need to fine-tune to that. You need to work on your body, your mind, and your soul. You need to throw certain people away that, once again, absolutely do not have the best of interest, because they don't want that manifestation, for example, to manifest. They have their own agenda, their own mindset. They want to control people. After all, manifestation means you jump to your highest timeline. You jump to the reality where you feel absolutely at bliss. Because you have what you desire. You have that money, you have that security, you have those pets, you have especially your spouse. And you both cherish each other. You both challenge each other for the better. This is a spiritual aspect, a heavy spiritual aspect. If you are into spirituality or you're just new to that stuff, eventually you might have heard the term soulmate or twin flames, who, once they unite, they are a power couple. A power couple is able to shake things up on the planet pretty quickly. There's the reason why basically evil forces do not want them to come together, because they can shake things up in a very short amount of time. Most likely they are on a mission, and the devil absolutely has no interest in those missions to be fulfilled, because the devil is a low vibrational frequency. Worry, fear, sorrow, hatred. You want to take revenge. You want to end someone. You want to destroy someone. You cannot take that other people, or one cannot take that other people are successful. It needs to be justified. Why they have the success? They're probably doing something bad. That manifestation, even though not spoken out loudly, once you start to improve your life, your friends, family members, and whatnot will easily notice that. And they will absolutely despise that development. Because by you proving that you ascend, you can ascend to a higher state of being, to a higher conscience, therefore attracting everything in your life, what is their excuse? That they themselves haven't achieved that. By you improving yourself and actually not doing anything, to them, you still highlight to them, what the fuck are you doing, guys? I achieved that no one achieved. What have you done in your life? Who are you? What's your thinking? Your thought patterns, they must suck, basically. You haven't spoken a single word, but that is the message. That is the unspoken message. That's why people absolutely do not like and despise people who, in a toxic environment, go up. Because you have proven you can do it. So why the fuck haven't they? What have they done all those years and decades? They were comfortable being miserable. They are unable to manifest outcomes in life to their favor. Once again, life lives them. I've said it quite a few times in my videos. Someone of a winner mindset, someone who manifests their reality, that's a winner. That is someone who attracts things effortlessly into their life. It doesn't matter how long it might take. Your intentions are pure. Your vision is pure. You allow, because it's about love. So you allow your significant other, your girlfriend, your grill, your boyfriend, your boy, to fully ascend as well without control. Once again, to the soulmates and twin flames, people, for example, say soulmates are more like easy, it's an easygoing life. They also challenge themselves. Twin flames, even more. They hardcore challenge themselves. There's all the time separation. There's all the time coming back, coming together, coming out of touch again. Outside forces heavily trying to destroy everything. You're confronted with things that normal average people absolutely do not have any clue about. You might be attracting, or not attracting, but you might be encountering supernatural stuff that you cannot explain. This is not for average people. Average people have an average mindset, an average lifestyle, average friends, average experiences, average income, average opportunities and possibilities, average sex. It's not bad, but it's also not spectacular. And most likely, they do not know what true love is, as I've mentioned in the video Unconditional Love. Probably like 70% of the world population absolutely clueless what true love is, unconditional love, even though by the word alone you should know what it is. Yeah, it's love without conditions. Once again, you allow someone to be themselves. You do not expect anything in return. In that manifestation, you consciously see, smell, hear, touch almost everything. You do extraordinary work. Yeah, not like this. You just take your phone and in that manifestation, you feel the weight of the phone. You do feel how you're shaking things up. Putting it from this hand into the other hand. Why simultaneously seeing what your girlfriend is doing, what your boyfriend is doing? You might be on the phone scrolling on social media in that sunset, while there's an aquarium, there's aquascapes, there's maybe a chimney fire. Maybe you're not into aquariums. I am, for example, for sure. And you see, you see your significant other doing yoga naked, and you fully enjoy that. Extra process power of the brain necessary to capture everything. The beauty of her body, the beauty of her soul, the potential that you have at one point seen in her completely manifested to the outside. A strong-willed woman, unshaken by the opinions of other people, fully being able to fulfill her potential. Relaxed on the inside, relaxed on the outside. No stress about money, no stress about stupid opinions, no stress what the world is thinking. Eventually, in that scenario, the world has already changed to the better. A lot of morons already in prison, a lot of morons executed because of certain events that took place. And the truth came out. The truth completely highlighted to mainstream as well. That will also happen. You play with your cats. You massage her feet. You're talking. You're spending quality time. For example, twice every 2 weeks. Quality time, meaning you do not talk. You're just being together, watching each other, kissing each other, hugging each other, letting time pass by. Eventually, a cat comes by. You're petting it. And all those moments, what do they do to you? When I'm thinking of that scenario, feet massage, cat everywhere, goes free, aquariums, relaxed atmosphere. Most people absolutely do not know what a relaxed atmosphere truly is. They've never experienced that. They already feel guilty if they are sleeping a little bit longer. Sometimes you should eventually actually sleep 15 hours plus. Take a weekend off and sleep 15 hours on a Friday into the Saturday. Work out, play a little bit, computer games for example. 6 hours later you go to bed again. Sleep again 15 hours. Sunday, if possible, why not sleep the entire day? Just lay in bed and scroll once in a while social media. You do not have to feel shame if you do that only once in a while. Or that you, for example, consume it for 6 hours. After all, you might take it as an input. Or maybe you are yourself a creator, a content creator. So even in that manifestation, you allow new ideas from different people to pop in. Where you allow her as well the free will. You cherish everything. Everything is blossoming. You have wonderful friends. You can imagine how you're eating, how your friends and her friends are coming over. Quality friends, not quantity morons. Yeah? Everyone great. Everyone happy. No trust issues. Also among the friends. Yeah? Because this is your highest timeline you want to imagine. This is the reality that your heart is screaming for. It's pure love. You're not controlling someone. You're not, for example, manifesting against their will, because once again, you allow free will even in that manifestation. You just want the other individual to be in that reality. You eventually know, once again, to the very beginning, you are in a relationship with that particular person. You are about to be with that particular person. You have ended the relationship, but there's still potential there, you know? Eventually, it just faded out because of certain circumstances, certain external stimuli, you know, moronic morons giving their opinions, someone evolving, the other one not so much. So being basically being left behind. It's time to grow. It's time to rise. It's, especially if that particular person told you that they see the strength in you, even though you yourself might not believe it. How do you feel around that person, that spouse, that future spouse, future husband, future wife? Can you completely let yourself go in their presence? Do you fully trust in their vision? Once again, if that particular person fully believes in you, why not give it a shot? Evolve. Rise. Rise, queen. Rise, king. Whoever is watching. Just flip the roles. And leave the people in the dust. Especially those moronic morons who absolutely do not have your best of interest. They want to see you crushed. I made a few videos about that. And especially the last 2 to 3 videos. I made 2. When it comes to blood does not make family, and most parents absolutely do not wish the best for their children. Because, once again, if their children succeed, who are they? Especially if personality disorders are involved. Certain people cannot take that their children are smarter, wiser, better looking, having better opportunities. 4 decades ago, there was no Game Boy. Nothing like that. Today, children are growing up with the best of iPhones, with the best of phones in general. with the best of consoles, with the best of computers, with the best of laptops. The internet basically omnipresent almost. Huh? The internet basically everywhere. Those parents didn't have these opportunities. That alone could be jealousy. Huh? Okay, simple jealousy. But if it's more about going deeper than that, you can be assured that someone like that absolutely doesn't want you to succeed in life. They want to see you destroyed, especially not you living your highest timeline, because your highest timeline means you're going to leave all the people who are unwilling to go up with you. You're leaving them behind just naturally. They will fade away. They have to, because their energy can no longer stick to you. You are attracting other things, other frequencies. Yeah? You will gain more knowledge. You will gain more wisdom. You will, out of nowhere, I can guarantee you that, perceive the world with different eyes. The same world that you had been living all the time is different somehow. It looks the same, everything is still the same, but it's a complete change. You see everyone with different eyes. You see the manipulation, you see the deceit, the hardcore destruction that they planned for you. Your friends, family, the ones at the workplace, society, governmental structures. You see it clearly, especially when you're about to go to your highest timeline. This particular manifestation that you have, because in that manifestation, the video is all about love. Love is the purest form and highest form of energy, the highest frequency basically. The devil cannot manifest in that realm. Therefore, it tries to make it possible for you not to succeed in life. It tries everything. It tries to go inside the people that you love, because they are low vibrational morons. Yeah, sorry, I have to say that. They will be easily manipulated. They don't even know that they're manipulated. They don't even know that negative energy is now inside them, operating through them. That's why you can, for example, enter a room, and the energy shifts. People, for example, know that you're confident. People, for example, start to smile back, You smile, they smile. And other people will hate you. You haven't even spoken a single word, but your auric fields are clashing already. For so many years, oh no, there is no auric field, this is bullshit, nonsense. That's what science said. But under scientific names and terms, this is a bioelectric field. So what people in the East have already been saying for 6,000 years plus, people in the West have dismissed, because this is nonsense. They are being held stupid for a reason. But giving them the term bioelectric field, okay, that is acceptable. Because the heart radiates energy, and this is a certain field around the body. It's very minimal, but there's a field of energy, electricity. Do you really believe such people can manifest their best life? The best outcomes? Their favorite spouse, partner, or life? No. They are stuck with losers. They are stuck with this loser mindset. Sticky energy in that entire dynamic. All around the friends, all around the family. Different families, around the neighborhood. There are neighborhoods where you immediately feel something is very wrong, because in that entire neighborhood, everyone is residing in that low frequency, that disgusting, breathtaking experience. And you haven't even met those people. They may come out of the door and you already see the faces and you just want to leave because what the fuck is that? What the fuck is watching there, staring at you? You feel something is off. Those people do not want anyone to succeed in life. They themselves couldn't do it. Low vibrational people. So the people below the average, so the mob. The mob can't manifest shit. It doesn't work. You need to be at a certain level in order to do that. So that's why I've been saying you need to know who you are. You need to rise. Once again, rise, queen, rise, king. Yeah. To meet the ones you truly deserve. Because they're waiting on the other side. Especially if they have told you. You have strength in you, I can see that clearly. Wake up, do something. There's a better life out there. Something that you currently probably can't even imagine because you're residing in that low frequency, with this low frequency mindset that the other people have. They themselves do not see the best of for themselves, the best version. Nothing, a bright future ahead, nothing. They are stuck. They accept reality. They don't want to change anything. Change is difficult. Change takes time. Change is painful. Change requires you to look inside. Going inside would eventually only take 1 to 3 years, if you do it correctly. And your entire life would dramatically change for the better. First and foremost, you would leave certain people behind. Certain people, certain mindsets, certain behaviors, certain stupid comments that you would eventually hear every day, every week. You have a hobby, you have a goal in mind, you want to create a company, you want to be the best singer, you want to be the best gamer. Everything, yeah? And they will make stupid comments, for example. How much money have you earned this week? Have you earned any money this week? Has anyone bought your goods? Did you finally get that promotion or not? Because they are waiting for your downfall. It's always in your best of interest to never share critical information on what you want to achieve in life, and critical information about your love life. Because once again, most people do not know what love is. They never experience, especially unconditional love. And now we are talking here in that manifestation that you have spicy sex all life long. Spicy sex on camera. Imagine you put a camera on those high ceilings somewhere. Imagine the ceiling is like 4, 5, 6 meters high. Pointing down. And you two having a great time on the couch. She's riding you. She's squatting you. Or vice versa, He is holding her by her ankles and doing his thing. Maybe you have chains. Yeah. You push back. The neck, everything goes back. And then you bite. That must look amazing on such a camera. That must look amazing. Do you think average people think of something like that? They're average for a reason. The mob is the mob for a reason. Everyone who exceeds average is already a winner. There are also people who live this mediocre lifestyle and they're happy with themselves. And if they're happy with themselves, they have also won. Because they will not despise people of success. Unfortunately, though, most people despise hardcore anyone who threatens a certain dynamic because they are confident, because they know who they are, because they say what they mean and mean what they say. Someone like myself easily would disrupt a family dynamic just by being around. My knowledge, my wisdom, the way I talk, the way I walk, the way I move through life. I wouldn't even have to necessarily point fingers at certain people. They already feel threatened by my presence. Because my presence alone lifts other people up and highlights to those that their surroundings, they didn't do shit to help them. Nothing. They kept them even down below. Because it's uncomfortable for such moronic morons, losers, to look into the mirror and realize, yeah, big L, they've wasted like 3-4 decades. And now there comes a young man, could be any age, or myself, mix and shakes things up in just 2, 3, 4, 5 years. Who the fuck are they compared to me? I don't compare my life to anyone. I play my own game. But they can compare their life all the time to successful people, to myself, to anyone else out there, and then justify why they have that money. And once again, I've explained it already. Because it's a painful experience to look inside, especially knowing and realizing that you activated people, and you lifted them up. Because you've seen they put time and effort in. So you extend your hand and pull them up. And by pulling them up, they have a complete different conscience. They see everything from a different perspective. And they will laugh at that. Because once again, it's a different perspective. So in their mind, in their brain, everything will change for them. They will see the world with different eyes. They will use information in a different way. I activated people. I have activated people. I activate people. I always will activate people. And therefore, by knowing who I am, I will always be the hot gossip. And I fully enjoy that. Because I very well know that these people who gossip behind my back, they could have used their time differently. They have to unite to go against someone behind their back one more time. Therefore, highlighting greatly my name, my presence, everything that makes me, me. Incredible power. And once again, I activate people. They might not like that. I might activate certain people in their family. Ooh. How dare you? You fucking bastard. How dare you? Shake things up. How dare you? Take away that friend out of that group. Was drinking all the time, partying like a moronic moron, wasting potential. I come along, someone else comes along, yeah, there can be also different other people. 3 years later, life completely changed. Different opportunities, different mindset, different, once again, lifestyle, different location eventually. The sticky energy gone. The fucking loser still the same 15 plus years later. I might change women to the better. I might change a specific girl to the better. You fucking bastard. We tried everything to keep her down, to fuck up her life. And by fucking up someone's life, you don't allow them to even perceive a different perspective. Because their perspective is kept at a certain level. But someone like myself, oh look, there's a different life for you that you can achieve if you put in the effort. It's up to the individual, You cannot force anyone to do something because you don't want to control anyone. You want to see them fulfill their potential. In that manifestation, for example, you can do that. Once again, I've mentioned that in that scenario, her potential is fully fulfilled. She has free will. I don't control anything. The purest form of love a man can give to a woman is no control. The door is all the time open. She can leave at any moment if she thinks that's not what she wants. If she decides to work on herself, to rise in frequency, well, guess what? The door is still open. You can re-enter because you have proven yourself to be worthy again in that presence. You have shown that you are not like the rest. Goes for both genders, you know. If you're a woman and the guy big time fucked up, he has to prove himself now to you. So woman fucked up, she has to prove himself to you, to me, to anyone else in any relationship, for example. But that manifestation can work like a boost because you allow a reality to unfold where she is on her highest timeline with you as well. And people do not understand probably the potential part. Because most people absolutely do not even understand their own potential. They don't see that. That I've also mentioned quite a few times. The system has heavy difficulties already if people achieve something like 5 to 10%. This is immense pressure for the system because it's very difficult to control such people. You need to instigate extraordinary world events to bring them somehow down again. But they will keep rising and rising and rising. The ones who are deep asleep, who do not care for their own body, who do not care to have their finances in check, who do not care to see other people in their family succeed, they are easily controllable. There's no resistance. Every tyranny in human history was only possible by weak people not voicing themselves. Every tyranny in human history got destroyed and stopped by people like myself, who voice themselves. Because we, in a way, manifest it. There's a dark side that manifests the absolute horror, and then there's a light side that manifests where everyone, and especially in this video where it's all about love, two people coming together, especially now when we talk again, the spiritual aspect, soulmates, twin flames, divine counterparts, mixing things up together like crazy. But that requires both to be awakened. Usually one is more awakened than the other, and the other one starts to walk into the fog and doesn't know what to do anymore. And you can scream and tell and whatnot. No, they have to wake up on their own terms. You have to focus on yourself. Eventually, and 100%, they will also wake up. You have to believe in that. Once again, it's that manifestation that you see a reality where your significant other is also awakened, knows his or her power, knows how to walk and talk through life, unshaken by the opinions of other people, because you allow love to speak facts. Love is the common goal of the two. Love together internally manifests outside. And that low vibrational idiots absolutely do not like. They cannot stand the light. They cannot stand the joy. Because they themselves can't manifest. Shit. Eventually they know. No? Because of today's time, manifesting, spirituality, the tools of today, one more time, astrology, the tarot, they might know that certain people in their family or their children are special. And by being special, having also protection, they don't want these individuals to awaken. Because awakened individuals will not allow to be talked in a certain way and treated in a certain way, and eventually might leave at one point, meaning the protection is gone. Which then allows karma to kick in for all the things that those individuals have done, for example, to a child. Because by keeping a child down, and having done card readings, and birth charts when the child was just 2 or 3 years old, they can extract that energy. And through this extraction of energy, they can manifest. They can manifest as some sort of lifestyle. The moment that kid breaks out, the moment someone leaves, so maybe an uncle, special, or an aunt, or most likely children, because in today's time, one more time, parents are very much interested into the qualities and skill set and eventual destiny of their kid. Now, they want to know that. They want to pay money. And some fucked up idiots make sure that the child can't awaken, because that would mean it would leave at one point, because it has a mission to fulfill with someone else, or just alone in society. That is also the case. They don't want that, because this protection bubble is gone. That manifestation, extraction energy is also gone, because those people, those parents, for example, heavily try to manipulate any outcome. They try to manipulate finances. They try to manipulate how the child is thinking. They try to manipulate with whom the child is interacting. They try to manipulate if the child should meet someone or not, because they have the best of interest. No one has the best of interest in their own child if they themselves are fat, lazy, stupid, and undisciplined. And their life choices greatly highlight disastrous outcomes. The only thing someone like that should know is to ignore them, to rise in frequency, to do meditation, to read books, to do yoga, breathing exercises, to eventually go yourself to card readers, to astrologists, and ask certain questions. What is $500? Pay that. You eventually would get information that's going to blow off your mind. Because in certain families, they have that information about you, you're watching right now. You yourself might have never understood why your parents are against you, why they controlled everything, why they destroyed the hobby that you want to go for in order to create money. Because by making a hobby, turning a hobby to money means you are never working in life. Destroying every relationship that you had. This relationship destroyed, next relationship will be destroyed. This one destroyed, next one will be destroyed. Creating people pleasers. People pleasers who in the end, regardless the age, are unable to defend themselves against their own parents, their own uncles and aunts, whatnot. Maybe even a grandfather might be saying, you ungrateful, obnoxious daughter of son. Who do you think you are? You bring shame to the family. The only response should be just, fuck you. No? Once again, blood does not make family. In that manifestation, the morons are gone. Because you want to live a happy lifestyle. You want to have a relaxed life. You want to relax for once in a while. And not constant stress. By not fighting against the ones who are trying to oppress you, you cannot manifest the outcome that you want, because they are, in a way, working against that. They try to lower your frequency. And by lowering your frequency, at one point you can't manifest anymore. Especially if you are in that low frequency, magic works on you. Just like in movies and anime, the one who is brainwashed doesn't believe that they are brainwashed. 2020. They fully believed they were in the right, taking the jab. Now the entire world is all about detoxing. Because Neptune was involved, because magic was involved. The energetic part and the physical part, propaganda. Constant repeating nonsense to override the truth. And through Neptune's energy as well, confusion, illusion, hypnosis, mass hypnosis, and people in low frequency, they fell prey to that. That's why it's crucial. Once again, rise in frequency. By rising in frequency, you can escape the bullshit also of the jab. envision yourself with what your heart is telling. Never do head over heart decisions. People, for example, who chase money, security, stocks, a certain lifestyle, materialism, later on in life, do you think you can just simply find true love? You're more likely concerned that you only meet people who want to have your money, who want to have your security, regardless who you are, man or woman. That they will abuse you, misuse you for your resources, for what you can provide. Huh? Later on, there's only time to regret. Watch, for example, YouTube videos about old people who are now in their 80s, 90s, 100 even. There's plenty of videos that people can watch. How those old people fully regret not having chased their dreams, not having fought for the relationship, not having done the world trip, not having created that company. They fell in line and regretted that decision 6, 8 decades later. So because they didn't follow their heart is like your compass. It screams for you to go in a certain direction. And that might be scary, but the heart transcends this reality, the third, fourth dimension. The heart has information that the rational mind will only get in 10 years. Because in this dimension right now, the information is not present. But your heart already tells you not to do certain things, not to be with certain people, not to fall in line, to stand up. Yes, that might be scary. Yes, you will be absolutely scared because you will face confrontation with certain individuals. But I can guarantee you 100%, 100% easy.
So you say.
If you do not fight for yourself, you will regret it. You will end up like the old people. Regret it for the rest of your life. Not having followed your heart, not having followed that intuition, not having followed the vision, that manifestation. People might not even consciously manifest. They don't even know the word manifesting. But they're doing something with their mind. They're doing something subconsciously. While daydreaming, still doing that manifestation part. While they can, because they are still at a certain frequency wave. And if they are below a certain frequency wave, they can't manifest anymore. Suddenly they are stagnant. Suddenly people are more and more mean to them. Suddenly opportunities are taken away. Suddenly health declines drastically. Everything seems to be gloomy, dark, and there's no hope. The lower you get, the more darker it gets. That's why it's important to talk good about yourself. That's also manifestation. Love yourself. Believe in yourself. Know that you have the strength, especially if someone else told you that you have strength. Believe in that. That is a winner who's trying to help you also become a winner. That's someone who has the best of interest for you, because the winners ignore losers. Losers don't want anyone to climb up one more time, because they will be at one point left alone with the losers around. It's painful, especially once again, as I've mentioned, someone might be special, someone might be chosen. I've mentioned divine counterparts. They might be chosen. They might even unconsciously give energy to their surroundings. So once they remove themselves from those surroundings, the friends, the family, no one can manifest anymore. Because they never should have to begin with. They were never actually allowed to manifest. But they oppressed someone, hardcore, so that someone can't even walk on their own legs. I think you should be doing this. I think you should be doing that. No, you shouldn't be doing this. You shouldn't be seeing this one. Not good for you. You should be seeing this one. Closer, easier, everything, tra-la-la. These people absolutely don't understand higher dimensional thinking. They don't understand anything of importance when it comes to missions. They are average and oftentimes below average. They're the mob. While you watching, you might be special one more time. Act accordingly. Manifest. Talk to yourself in a good way. Before you sleep, I love myself. Good night. Good night to all the good people in the world. Huh? Next day you wake up. I'm awoken. I love myself. I'm grateful that my legs are working, my hands are working. I can look into the mirror. I see my beautiful self, even though you might not in the beginning believe that. Because of certain actions you have taken in the past. You have to accept that. You have to work through that. In order to love yourself. Because there is a version of you at the end of the street, of the path. Who you truly are. And this version is waiting. This version allows you to live that harmonious lifestyle that you wish. This version attracts all the people that you truly want. This version will never allow himself, herself to be talked in a certain way, to be having opportunities taken away. This version of yourself is with the spouse that you truly want. You don't have to be scared, because this other one has your back and will always, all life long, have your back. One more time again, especially when it comes to those soulmates, twin flame, divine counterparts. Once you realize that, you're absolutely not interested in anyone else. But that is only for those to understand who feel it on the inside. People who don't feel certain things cannot comprehend them, because to them it doesn't make sense. It is weird. This is nonsense, bullshit. They are most likely all the time just religious people, going to church 2 or 3 times a week. They think they have a connection with God. Why is your life miserable? Why do you treat people miserably around you? Or those people, why do those people treat everyone around them miserably? Why do they manipulate, deceive, and lie? That's a sin. Not creating some sexy videos of yourself for the other one. Or together, this is not a sin. It's just porn, for example, is just a visual representation of 2 people or eventually more having sex in front of a camera. For other people to be perceived as inspiration to spice up their own life, their own sex life. Because through true love, true sex, you can unlock hidden potential. Whoa. There's a reason why the church doesn't like that. It's all about understanding and using it accordingly, that information given that you receive from yourself, from within. You no longer look externally, because the people around you will not know anything what you're experiencing, because you are on a mission. You have something different to do. You have visions in your mind. You see something. You eventually manifest once again, subconsciously. You don't even know those words that I've just mentioned, twin flame manifestation. You have no clue maybe about those things, but something inside you, that heart always tells you to go in a certain direction, to do certain things, to fight for your stance, to defend the truth, to voice yourself in a friend dynamic, family dynamic, to finally tell them to shut the fuck up and leave you alone so you can blossom. and learn to be unshaken at one point by the opinions of other people, because you walk in your own truth, and walking in your own truth means you feel it. This is not some rational nonsense bullshit. You feel it. You are at peace. The closer you are to the truth, the more peaceful your life becomes. That alone should be already a great symbol of you following what winners are talking and not what losers are all the time gossiping about. Because they, for example, can't understand it. They don't want to understand it. Their mission is to slow people down. Their mission is to destroy someone in their own family. Family members, everything's fighting with each other. Once again, the children, for example, the example of this is incredible. They were just too small. They realized what was going on once they became 25. They thought prior everything was lovely-dovely. They never asked questions. They never even imagined their own uncles and aunts, grandfathers, grandmothers, parents, cousins have done card readings on them, have done birth charts on them. They would never imagine that, because they try to bring people down so that they can't manifest. This is crucial to understand. You're in low frequency, you can't manifest. You need to rise in frequency in order to manifest. Fight for yourself. Believe in yourself. Find the strength that, for example, a friend or your spouse has mentioned. Find that. Sit still. Breathing exercises. Calm down. Relax. The more relaxed you are, the more clearer your vision. The more clearer your vision, the more you can accomplish, the more you can fine-tune. Because if you're not relaxed, you can't fine-tune. What the fuck, man? This is, here's something to do. Oh, overwhelmed. Bombastic, too much to do. Someone who is calm, relaxed. Oh, I can see this, that. And act accordingly. Fix that. Fine tune. And suddenly you rise in frequency. And you start to see that people won't like that. And at one point you will leave them behind. And you will live finally relaxed, this wonderful harmonious life that your heart is screaming. Yeah? Manifesting is basically your heart tells you to do something consciously. Because all the time prior, you probably were not listening to your heart. You were making head over heart decisions. Start to make heart over head decisions. Believe in the positive outcome, that everything can be obtained in this wonderful way for both parties. For yourself, to yourself, and your significant other. So that both people can come together and experience, because this video is about love, that true unconditional love one more time. And then probably, most likely, for sure, forever. Unbreakable, unshakable, king and queen together forever. Start to manifest. Have the courage to be yourself.